Everything's on. 3,
2,
1.
E2
Performance.
Welcome back to another episode of E2 Performance.
Yes.
What's your pot? Oh, you still hot? We're still in the heat wave, everybody. Still in the heat wave.
30-something degrees right now.
Yikes.
36, 37.
Yikes.
I was driving, it was 36. But
all right, today's episode comes out of your brain.
yeah, it's a
quick one.
It's a topic we'll call simple but not easy.
Simple but not easy.
I just find, obviously, dealing with, is that even the right term? Just being with people in the fitness industry, there's a lot of struggles that I personally see that I feel has a very simple fix, but yet it's not, it's just not getting done.
Yeah.
Like, let's say we live in a society where you can decide and try at the same time, but a lot of people just have that barrier, like they just don't want to do it, you know. So I don't get I'm a little disconnected, which I feel like I need to be more connected because I've been in this industry almost a decade now. Right, I feel like I should be able to understand them more. I should be able to help them more. I should have all the tools for me to have this person move from point A to point B. But it's not, like, I can't.
That part is not simple nor easy.
See, again, in my head, it's like, hey, this is the right thing to do. Do it.
Yeah.
And it's done.
Yeah.
That's how I feel like that's how it should be, especially having all the resources that you have here.
Your tool belt is missing the like experience of being in those dark places, being in those harder places of like depression, beat up, down and out. Like, so these,
that is, you know what, that's a true statement. So I do not by any means, I don't feel like I'm qualified to talk about mental health issues, problems, or whatever. I don't get it. I'm not educated enough.
So these simple but not easy solutions. This is like, we can just talk about drinking water, resting and recovering, having low stress, like stress management techniques, enjoying your exercise. Like,
I don't even know what a stress management technique is, but
meditation, gratitude journal, journaling, anything. When we talk about even exercise, though, for something that's me, I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, if people enjoy their exercise, if they enjoy it, then it's all good. They're going to do it. It doesn't need to be a habit. It doesn't need to be discipline, because you just love it. You want to do it. That's how I normally view my exercise when my stomach's not giving me issues. If I don't have stomach problems, I love my exercise. So it's not even work, but most people don't love exercise. So for me, I was always taking this route of like, how do I get people to love exercise? I'm like, I want to expand I've told this to clients where I'm like, I want you to try weightlifting, gymnastics. I want you to try bodybuilding. I want you to try CrossFit.
Just to see what they
we
kind of
can
enjoy.
find one that you enjoy,
let's put you there.
The chances of success are way, way higher. But even that strategy is not foolproof, because what happens when they don't like any of it?
I just enjoy, not knocking on powerlifters, but I just enjoy lifting heavy.
Well, even that person would still be successful. But what if somebody doesn't enjoy lifting heavy, doesn't like CrossFit, doesn't like gymnastics, doesn't like their body moving? Especially, and when we talk about this simple but not easy solution, a lot of these people have already lost it. Yeah, they're not in great shape. Their joints hurt. Like the sensation of me and you going downstairs to the garage and chasing a pump. People don't even know what that is. Like, they don't even know what that is. That's uncomfortable feeling. Yeah. Like, me and you getting like biceps getting jacked up and getting sore. We're like, whoa, I love this feeling. My muscles being swole. To somebody else, that's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel good. I don't like this feeling.
Well, it is physically uncomfortable, but we just know that, like, we know that everything else after that, like, it just makes you better at a lot of things.
Yeah. So
right.
These simple but not easy things: drink water, exercise, make the right decisions, do these right things. It's so much easier, bunny ears, easier to sit down on the TV, crack a beer, watch a TV show, play a video game, smoke some weed. Cigarettes.
Where does that come from, though?
Cigarettes is a stress management technique. first thing is like a smoker who gets
I guess
stressed out?
I did that before. Yeah.
As soon as you're
I
stressed,
get it.
oh, I need to smoke.
Yeah.
And it's not
did
even,
it.
it's not, I've never done cigarettes, but I know that it's not even just about the smoke. It's getting away from the situation. And it's
Yeah.
also socializing with other smokers.
Being solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're a smoker,
I
you
get
start
you.
talking to other smokers. Like, so.
Yeah. It's still, yeah. It's crazy that, again, the industry has evolved. How many years now that you think like the industry is thriving? It's a multi-billion, if not trillion-dollar industry of fitness, supplements, health foods, organic stuff, right? Yet your chronic disease and obesity issues, I would just focus on North America even.
Well,
actually, you know what? Not even North America. Let's go worldwide.
The sugar.
It's still at its peak.
Sugar industry and fast food industry still makes way more money than fitness. But you said specifically, where does this come from? Like, where does laziness come from? Where does these habits come from? And again, I think that it's a lot related to childhood. Like, I think your parents set the example of health and fitness. That's a big part. But if you think about, like, what's your parents' coping mechanism? What did you watch daddy do? Was daddy out, like, playing with the kids at the playground and exercising and stuff? Or was daddy drinking beer, sitting around, being lazy? Like, there's different variables into that. But it's also, like, it's everything you learn as a child, because you're just a sponge. So if you're a kid, like, if Jace is riding his bicycle and falls down, and he's crying, you have a couple of different ways to teach him how to deal with that. You know, Jace, man up, grow some balls. Doesn't even hurt. You're fine. Or you could coddle him and you could pick him up. Oh, my poor boy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Each one of those is going to produce a different reaction, and that's going to be a compounding reaction that's going to translate to different like facets in life. He falls and gets up, like, so there's the coddling, like, oh my God, poor child. Or there's man up, or there's somewhere in between where you coddle them a little bit, but not too much, and that goes with discipline in executing these things.
And I feel like that's where us coaches sometimes get stuck with people, is we don't know whether to tell them to, like, shut up and get work done. Right? Shut up and get work done and save yourself from yourself.
Well, there's a happy medium balance with that too, because some people need that, and other people, like one of my clients was saying, man, Eric, the reason why I'm training with you is because you actually listen to me. When I'm telling you something feels weird, you actually assess it, look at it. You can either improve it, fix it, or change it. And the last coach I was with was just like push through it, and I felt like my shoulder was going to blow out of its pocket. So there's a happy medium balance between listening to that, but teaching kids these lessons, I'm just saying, like, I think a lot of it translates from that. Like, your kids,
from childhood.
Your kids, Saturday, like, again, balance. I know you've gone out for Slurpees with the kids. I don't think that's a bad thing. But if you did that every time they want snacks, if it's just chips, Slurpees, and chocolate, I think that's a bad thing. But I know for a fact, I've seen the kids sitting in front of the TV, watching TV,
eating a vegetable tray,
a giant platter of vegetables.
AJ always does that.
Yeah, so a giant platter of vegetables. They need to know that those are snacks as well. Like, a lot of my snacks were not like processed. I wanted them as a kid though, bro. I wanted that sugar. I wanted like Scooby-Doo gummy snacks and Flintstones gummy snacks. I wanted this sugary cereal. A lot of my snacks, like for me, was like, Mom, I'm hungry. Okay, well, we have bananas and apples. Mom, I'm hungry. Okay, well, dinner's in an hour. Have a glass of milk. And I'm like, oh man, I just want a fruit like a fruit roll up or a Pop-Tart or something like that. And those, I didn't start getting those sugary snacks until I got a job, because I bought them for myself.
Wow.
Serious. Like Pop-Tarts, non-existent in my life, but I wanted them so bad as a kid. I started buying them as a preteen or a teenager, because I'm like, well, I could, like, mom and dad wouldn't buy me Pop-Tarts, I'm gonna buy myself Pop-Tarts. Turns out they taste like shit. They're not that good.
They were good for like the first couple of times.
They look good in the commercial and in the box. They taste like shit. They're not worth it. I gotta give
a shout out to my wife for keeping the balance at home, because we obviously, like, kids will have Slurpee, ice cream, chips, hot dogs, burgers, fries, like all that stuff, but they also have like real food. Right? Like,
I think
vegetables, fruits.
I'm not that this is a kid topic, but I think those translate. If Jace falls down in the backyard, me and you barbecuing, Jace falls down, he like falls down, bumps his head and starts crying. He's looking at his head and he's looking at you, he's crying, he's daddy, daddy, daddy. You know when it's serious and when it's not. I've seen you rush to him. I've seen you rush to him like, oh damn, that was a bad one. And I've also seen him fall. Have a tantrum, and then you just say, "What's wrong, boy? Did that hurt a little bit? You're okay though, right? You're good, right?" And then he kind of like,
most of the time it's like that.
Yeah, you're right, Dad. I am good, and he moves on. I've also seen Curtis do that with his son.
Yeah.
Like,
the funny thing is, like, you would know, like, as a parent, you know your kids cry. There's a cry that is like, oh, I just hurt myself a little bit, and there's a cry and a scream
that
real says bad. That, man, that hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to just say with this whole conversation, because I feel like I've been talking a lot, I am not a mental health professional, and I'm not saying I have all the answers. I'm just saying I think that this is a big player in it, because guaranteed there's always going to be exceptions to the rule. There's probably some kids out there who went the reverse way, where daddy was too much of a health nut, and daddy was crazy and pushing on crazy right now. They went 180 the other way. Yeah. So being on either end of the spectrum, I don't think is very good. You need a healthy balance of both. You need to know when to sit down and just watch a movie and play video games with the kids and have Slurpee night and candy. And you need to know when to take the whole family biking and get healthy food for snacks and have a healthy picnic in the sun and at the river.
Well said.
Which is what your kids already did today.
Yeah, they already had ice cream today.
Yeah. But again, that healthy balance, it's such a fine line to try to dance it. And I just don't think a lot of people dance that line of balance.
From my point of view, from someone who I've been very unhealthy, unfit in the past, I feel like I've already peaked and now on a down slope. No, not really. I know what fitness and health like feels like. I know what that feels like. From my point of view, and obviously I talk about this to my clients and to the people in the gym as well. I still think that you just gotta, if you write stuff down, if you're that kind of person, I think you just like, what are the things that I can control today? What are the things that I can control for the week? If it's out of my control, then it's out of my control. But the thing that I don't understand, again, is when you already have the answer, you have the time, but you won't get up and do it.
Yeah, and that's almost a different podcast episode. But yeah, like a lot of people know what they should be doing, but they choose not to. Honestly, it's normally the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance, even the body wants to do that when you're exercising. If you're doing a movement and the body can cheat a little bit,
your body will try and find.
The mind does the exact same thing. So, simple, but not easy.
Even to talk about. It's very simple, but like I want answers, you know what I mean? Like it's
my clients, two of my clients who are training said, like, Eric, one of the reasons we respect you is you're one of the most disciplined people we know. House is always clean. You're always in good shape. You're always eating pretty clean. You have your non-negotiables, your podcast, you're busy. People can look at the outside in and be like, oh, it's all peaches and cream and stuff like that. What people don't understand, and what we've talked about before, is like, yeah, I might have like a clean house and a pretty good body and I like take care of myself and stuff like that. The reason I do that though is like high levels of criticism and perfectionism. I'm hard on myself and that's why I don't allow myself to slip. So, and we think that's why my stomach is getting tweaked, because I'm so anxious because I'm operating at a level where I don't take a break. And people view that, again, in this hustle culture as a win.
Good work.
Wow, look
buddy.
at that guy. Yeah, he's doing really good. He's so disciplined. He's got everything done. And sometimes I'm like, man, do I need to vacuum this week? Or can I just put it off? That's a hard one for me, right? So, but anyways, they were saying, if I could figure out a way to transfer the discipline practices I have to other people, that you'd be a millionaire. Because if I could give people, not fitness and health, but if I could just give people discipline, then discipline is like action regardless of circumstance or how you feel. Discipline is getting it done regardless of your emotions. It is just pure logic. It's not emotional. So discipline is like, oh, I feel like shit, I don't want to work out today. Discipline says you're going to do it anyways. So if we could bottle discipline in a supplement.
We have a new project now.
A little pill bottle.
We're gonna put that thing in a bottle and sell it.
Bottled discipline. Yeah, but so discipline is something simple but not easy. Discipline is something that will override these emotions on how people are feeling. you know, when they make these decisions of like, oh, I have the answer, I know what the answer is, the path of the least resistance is this. These are all like emotional decisions.
Yeah.
If I do everything right, I'll get what I want, and that's awesome. If I don't do it, well, I can just relax and just take it easy and be comfortable. Discipline says, I don't give a shit about what you want or what you're giving up. You're just going to do it anyways and chase the process.
Yeah. I wish there's a way we can, I wish there's a way we can
just
give that discipline to someone. But again, it's not even then, it's not the answer, because a lot of people will do the discipline.
Eljay's flabbergasted right now.
Because you give them discipline, but then sometimes people who are so disciplined are even then like emotionally messed up. Like they still can't function at 100% or don't have that satisfaction.
And that's the balance. That's the happy medium balance. That's why, so when you say like, I don't know what stress management techniques are, my non-negotiables that we discussed, you've seen, like I have journals sitting behind the camera. I have a monthly planner. Non-negotiable, I have to meditate and check that off. I have to write in my gratitude journal and check it off. Those are things that if I don't do that, and if I don't live in the moment, like for me, my stress is so high. I sit on the patio, and I was sitting on the patio just watching spiders. Like it was interesting. Like the spider was just like running along the web, like running around. He was checking flies, like something would spark his web, and I'm like, man. Like if you actually think about what's going through that spider's mind, it's pretty crazy. It's very primal.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, I felt something down there. Oh, no, that's not food. Oh, but I felt something over here. Oh, I need to go and fix my web over here. And he's doing this very complex, like he's living a primal, complex lifestyle. And there's billions of spiders, and that's just the one on my deck.
Have you seen how webs are built?
That's what I'm saying, but nobody appreciates it. For me, sitting on the deck and just slow, like calming myself down, not thinking about work, and just watching that spider for 10 minutes, that's meditative to me.
Yeah. I think the answer is for you to love yourself enough that you're going to try to figure out what is best for you. I think it's your responsibility to yourself and to the people around you to take care of you so you have a good experience and they have a good experience with you doing things that you guys love. But yeah, I think isolating, if you're the one who struggles through mental issues or just anything not physically related, which turns into physical anyway, but like all mental and emotional issues, I think talking to someone and just, again, try not to isolate. Find someone, be somewhere with someone.
Yeah.
And just, whether you talk about it or not, just be with people. Don't be alone.
To your point, I've seen a lot of people struggle in my life. I've seen a lot of people struggle, fall apart, and not do very well. They almost think that if they struggle isolated, oh, I'm not going to ask for help. I'm just going to isolate, and I'm just going to be by myself, and I'm just going to be depressed by myself all alone. That person doesn't realize they're like, oh, well, I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not affecting everybody. Yeah. You actually affected everybody that loves you. Yeah. Because everyone that loves you, every person that you love, you can name a list. Like you start with the big boys, like the big ones, like AJ, Jordan, and you go down the list. Yeah. Eric's like number 5, right? So you go down your list to 6. Eric being 6. But if you're a person that's isolated, not taking care of yourself, you are hurting each one of those people on that list, and you can blind yourself and be like, well, I'm not, but I didn't do anything. All those people would rather you ask for help and rather help you rather than watch you fall apart.
Yeah, again, I think we've all experienced this too. Like you'll have this one guy who's just a ball of energy, good to be around with, just good vibrations coming out of this guy, right? These are normally the guys who take care of themselves and try and be disciplined and try and chase something and has meaning in life and all that stuff. All I'm saying is, again, figure it out. If you don't get professional help, it is your responsibility to figure that out for yourself. For yourself and for the people you love.
To that same point, we talk about balance. Like everything, if there was a bar graph, you have like physical health, mental health, spiritual health, you can have nutrition, you can have family, you can have business, you have all these categories of life. They're all going to be playing this balancing game, right? You need to identify, like there's almost self-care is reflecting on yourself, figuring out which one is too high oh, LJ, work's getting too high, fitness is getting low, family's getting lower,
Whoa, what are
dial
you
this
talking
one down, pick this one up, pick that one up. Don't get defensive.
I get you.
No, all of them need to balance.
Yeah.
For me, the reason why I left the gym recently, work was higher, not super high. Like I'm not saying I was working like
family
you.
was.
But personally, for me, my mental health was taking a toll. Anxiety was too high, so I needed to lower that when I need to lower work, so I can work on meditating, gratitude, like and passion projects. I needed to balance those things out. If I would have stayed at the gym, I would have been sacrificing those categories just for stability.
Yeah.
And fear of change. I'm like, oh man, I'm so afraid of change.
And again, that's one great example of you gotta find what works for you.
Well, and that's also a great example of like, you know, courage is not doing things in the absence of fear. Courage is doing things with fear in front of your face. That was a scary move for me. But for my mental health and self-care, I had to make that move.
And the funny thing is, you left the gym, you had that feeling. For people who went back to the gym, had that same feeling too.
Yeah.
Right? Like, well, we're going back. It's a new company, blah, blah, blah. Different terms. They're all the same. Again, principle is the same. You got to find what works for you. Method, hundreds of methods out there. How you can deal with things, right? But key is to stick with the principles, find what works for you, and take care of yourself.
If you guys have anything to add to this conversation, whether you agree with us, disagree with us, or think that we should just touch on this in a different light, you can send us an email at e2perform@gmail.com.
Are we at E2Perform?
E2perform@gmail.com. Nice and
I thought it was
easy.
E2 Performance.
That's the podcast. I made the email shorter so it's easier, LJ.
All right. He's the tech dude. He's the one who handles all of it.
E2 Performance on Instagram, e2perform@gmail.com. This is us signing off because LJ is going to get cooked in the heat wave. It's so hot.
Whew.
Thank you for listening.
We love you guys. Salt in my eye.